So Joel, we were just going down memory lane,
Yeah.
and you were telling us about how you got started in journalism in Vasco in the 1960s or early 70s.
Yes, early 70s.
Okay.
68 I was in, 67 I was in Vasco. February 2nd, 1967 I landed in Vasco.
You took up a job at the port. Cesarport.
Then I think it is in a year or two, Louis came down from East Africa. He came from Moshi, Arusha.
Tanzania. Moshi, yeah.
Tanzania. And then they were staying at Budabad. They had to pass my house, which was at Patron, near the ground, no? Empty ground, this side there's a passage, so we had to pass by. And probably that is how we came to know each other. And of course, the other thing was about photography.
You said Louis brought in his style of East African journalism here.
Yeah, because I used to write a little bit. And that time we had our chap, Kelly
Furtado. He's still around.
Kelly is still around. It's the longest
Serving.
running journalist, I think, probably.
I see.
Reporter. He doesn't call himself a journalist, he calls himself a reporter. And then we had a whole group of them. Sham Kaskar was there, Gomantak, Marathi Gomantak, and other guys, of course. But then Louis came in, and then it made a difference for me,
What was new in what you all were doing then?
We were just writing or whatever it is.
But writing in a different style, or?
Different style, of course. Mine definitely was not a reporting style. Mine was a story style. I write a story, so it is that style. And then when Louis came and he started talking about Sunday Nation and how we went about it and how he used to photograph, and you know how he excites people. And I had a camera, Rollicott. And
120 mm?
120 mm.
Very costly film?
Yeah, I'm not costly film. 6 rupees I think was Agfa.
6 rupees was a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Agfa, Orvo, the Polish.
Kodak.
Orvo was Polish, no?
Yeah. Orvo was, we found it too cheap. We would prefer Agfa always. Take that film, put into this thing and shoot blindly. Go to Photo Art Kamat, get it processed. Because he was the best guy. We knew all the photographers in that line, all this thing in Vasco. There were so many of them. So, but his copy was the best.
Louis.
Photo Art Kamat.
Oh, sorry.
Photo Art Kamat. That's as far as photography goes. And it's Louis' excitement, no?
This was for Uzvad.
Yeah, we used to do it for Uzvad.
Uzvad was how long did it publish for? And
it was not published for long, I think. In between came, I think, who is that?
Goa Monitor?
Goa Monitor, Erasmus. And we did a little bit of reporting because that football, Johnny Memorial Football Tournament was being held at that empty grounds, and it was close to my house where I used to live. And this fellow was related to the Patron Club called Kelly. And somehow or other we used to find ourselves on the ground. So we started writing, we used to report. So we did that reporting. And from there I think this fellow picked me up. Nelson.
Herald.
So he wanted me to write.
That is in the 80s, but...
that is in the late 80s.
83.
I don't know how it came up. I didn't write for them anything except those reports from the football.
Maybe Louis recommended you or something like that.
I can't remember.
Because Louis was already in the Herald. Louis was there.
Was in the Herald somewhere. Even I was there somehow or other, even with Louis.
But we are jumping ahead of the story. I want to know what was it like working for Uzvad? Evagro was the editor, right?
Evagro was the editor.
But you said he came from a Portuguese-English background?
He was a little bit, I think he's an older man. He was an older person. So he could not change to the language which was evolving at that time. You know,
Evolving in what sense? Getting simplified?
getting simplified, getting standardized.
Okay.
That is when this thing started. Of course, this duty and SOT and all, and they had laid earlier this thing, but they were too much of Devanagari type.
Okay. In terms of Sanskritized and
Sanskritized, people used to find it difficult to read, and they thought, what is this company? What is the difference between Marathi and company? So this fellow was a little bit in between, why media? Because Minin was there.
so who were your colleagues? Minin, Gurunath Pai and
They were not my colleagues. They were at the office desk. They were what do you call this?
sub-editors.
Sub-editors, all of them.
Minin, Gurunath Pai and Zuarkar.
So among them, they knew what was to be done, because both were bilingual, Marathi company, and Minin being from Cape,
Concord.
So they had a better grasp over the company language.
I see.
Yeah. So, and it is this paper which popularized the new company.
Yeah.
New company, and there were guys like this fellow would encourage a lot of writers to
Evagri.
Anyone-
New writers, like
anyone who could write.
Like?
The guys who wrote at that time. So Father Frederick was there.
he started there.
He might have started earlier, but they became popular at that time. Father Freddy was there, Thomas in Kardal was there, Agnel Rao Braganza from Majorda.
Agnel
Rao Braganza from
Agnel Rao
Yeah.
Braganza.
Call himself Agnel Rao Braganza
Okay.
from Majorda.
Okay.
And of course Kelly and all for reporting. That is, there were quite a few guys who would write well.
I see.
And I was in between them, so I used to write sometimes reports, this, that, and then from first page to the last page. I could manage and I could write anywhere.
So you say Uzwad opened up a lot of space in those years.
In those years, because it popularized company.
It was a Chogle paper.
It was a Chogle paper run by the Chogles, but Chogles had a stake in it. They thought we will use the company paper to this thing.
Support Marathi cause.
Support Marathi.
But probably that came later, no? Because in those days maybe the divisions were not.
No,
it was
already,
there.
It was already there, I feel. But this fellow was a hard-headed guy. He would not
Evagri.
evaluate. But he didn't give in, and eventually he had to leave. Then Fatima too.
Who?
Fatima Kumari, Fatima D'Souza. They made her the receiving.
Who was she?
She's from Mapsa. She was good.
Okay.
Good there were so many guys when I can't remember their names.
Any controversy in Uzwad? Any big stories? Any?
Controversy, because that time everyone things were issues were people were involved in issues basically, and this corruption thing was, I don't think it had picked up that much.
Corruption was small. It was small.
Yeah, one small guy, someone caught in the electricity this thing minister or some small thing.
Yeah.
Or someone who was drive with a car or something. Those are the big things or the Marx scandal. What else was there?
True. So you were telling us.
But other things were there. Lot of the place was like Vasco was the most exciting place. Everything happened there because it was the first
Multi-ethnic, multi-community
area.
The fastest growing city, the largest city. Unfortunately, today Vasco hardly gets a single column, 2 column in every most English papers.
Because it has gone. I don't think it just exists.
I think we are not seeing the stories there.
We are not seeing. See what used to happen at that time. If you remember 70s and 80s, 70s football. You say Vasco Club, Dempo and Salgaonkar. Dempo nobody would bother about. So you say Vasco Club and Salgaonkar. There would be gate crashing at the
Stadium.
That crowd, those crowds you don't see for the first class games today. When the best of the teams come, you don't see the crowd. That excitement, Then there was other sports. You remember table tennis was there.
Right.
The amount of tournaments.
Veron Nunes. We had stars in those games.
This Arman Mansalves, Veron Nunes, Polvalkar brothers, Susan.
And then you had women's football, and then you had
football came a little later.
women badminton like Mrs. Mamre, Miss Mamre, and
all these guys, Madgaonkars.
Anand Madgaonkar.
Anand Madgaonkar was still Menezes and all these people. Then volleyball came, and find this thing. For 2-3 years, night volleyball was a great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
in Vasco.
In Vasco, that father was there. I can't remember his name. Bosco or someone. Father Bosco. He was at that Vasco church.
And then the Afrikanders and the returned Goans from the rest of India brought in hockey.
They brought in hockey, but we didn't have much of it in Vasco.
In Vasco, it was mostly a north thing. Giri, Mapsa, that side.
Basically, Giri and Britos. A little bit in Don Bosco.
Yeah. Badles. No, so
then the biggest thing that was happening there was labor problems, Indian problems. Because
Mohan Rao and Gerard Pereira and
Gerard Pereira was there.
Mohan Rao.
Mohan Nair.
Sorry.
Earlier it was Usgaonkar.
What Usgaonkar?
I can't get his name properly now. He was there earlier.
Okay.
So, but eventually Mohan Nair got everything with him. And this fellow was also sidelined.
Gerard was. He passed away early.
Yeah. Then there was this guy came. Kulkarni came with his SR Kulkarni came to Goa.
HMS in Madhu Sabha.
And he got the barge crew under him and all. And he took over afterwards.
See,
now you don't know.
No, I just am contesting whether if there's a lot of things happening we report, or if we report a lot, it seems as if much is happening. Which is the chicken and which is the egg? Sometimes it could be the other way around. Because we are reporting actively.
If you look back, if you look back, and if you see what is happening today, nothing seems to happen today.
Because it's not getting reported.
It is not getting reported. Sometimes it's not worth being reported. A minister inaugurating a toilet. Would you like to report it?
Joel, that's where your vision comes in on what is news.
Yeah.
What do you define as news? Correct.
Yeah.
That's where your passion, your enthusiasm comes in. I would think.
There was a time when people would go out for news. You know it yourself. You would go out.
It's not PR. Yeah, it's not PR.
Yeah, it was not PR. It was not a police station.
Yeah.
Today you go to the police station, you get a full day's registry.
It's all ready-made stuff.
It's ready-made stuff.
You could as well be a stenographer.
Yeah, you can. But that time you had to go and find out, talk to the fellow, and the communication was not as
smooth.
It was not existing, non-existent.
Even phones were tough. What do you remember of phones?
The 2-digit number, 83 was a Sazalbo number.
2-digit in the full of Vasco?
Yeah, Vasco. Everywhere they had.
And each town was separate exchange from the other. To make a call to Panjim, you had to make a trunk call.
Trunk call and wait for a lightning call and a trunk call and what sort of things. Sometimes you had to wait for hours together.
Just to call Panjim. You could have probably taken a bus and got there faster.
Yeah.
So how did you send your reports?
Sometimes you would come, sometimes we used to make do with different things.
Okay, Uzbad office was in Panjim.
Uzbad office was in something as Panjim.
Chogles. In Gomantak, I mean.
Gomantak.
There were some differences between Marathi Gomantak and Uzbad because staff was getting higher salary or something?
No, I was thinking we were not paid guys.
Yeah.
At that time, journalism never paid.
Didn't pay at all?
No. It was excitement. For me, Evagri knew that we were sending so much reports, we were doing this thing. So eventually I said, see Baba, I can't pay you.
Yeah.
I can't pay you, but I'll give you a card. So he gave us a card, where you go to the post office and then you show the card. and
They send.
and then you make a call. To the
Free call.
2013 was the number. That time I think I can't remember.
2013.
2013 I think.
Gomantak number.
Yeah.
2013.
Kelly would tell you exactly all this.
It sounds familiar. 223013. It sounds familiar. Then it got.
2013.
It became 6 digit. I remember it. 223013. Probably.
Yeah. So we were supposed to get a free this thing.
Yeah.
But somewhere or other these fellows, I don't know, it didn't operate properly.
Okay.
And the free this thing never came to us down here, trickled down to us like.
So you'll actually paid to write the news. You had to pay from your own pocket.
Yeah, from the thing.
From what?
From all this thing.
From your own pocket?
Yeah, because we used to work, So we were not working in the press.
Yeah.
We were not working as a reporter, this thing.
Yeah.
But we were going around like
Stringers.
Yeah, stringers or
Only later it became a viable profession. Only later.
It became very much late.
Yeah.
You remember when first?
You had to be very rich to afford to work in the press, or you needed another job. You needed another job.
Even when I started with God Today.
Yeah. Okay, the less said the better. Anyway,
Less said the better.
we won't go into that. But so tell me about Uzwad in that sense.
Uzwad, it was excitement. We used to do all this thing. We used to go cover tiyat.
Cover tiyat?
Sometimes we do the tiyat. We do the whole night sleep there.
Yeah?
We have slept. We and myself at the police bus stand. Bus stand here near that part of
Panjim.
Remember
Yeah.
when the
Yeah.
buses used to be there?
Yeah.
There we have
Next to the
slept.
post office.
Post office.
Yeah.
We have slept in the post office.
What was working with Louis like? I mean, I know him from the 80s,
Yeah.
and he was always a very
Excited.
high blood pressure, excited
Yeah.
kind of
He was always hyper.
hype.
So he had to be this thing, and it kept me also active.
Whereas you're the other extreme. You're a very cool guy. Nothing will.
Not exactly,
No.
but we were involved in everything.
Okay.
So, reporting was just one thing, one of our pastimes.
So he photographed and you wrote, or what?
Yeah, even he used my camera and if he photographed, I would be happy if someone else he does it. And he even processed it at home.
I see. He was a very hands-on guy. Dark room and everything.
Yeah.
Dark
We
room,
did dark room
chemicals and everything.
With this thing, even at home we did. We have done.
Those days to be a photographer meant you understood dark room, not like now. Just take
Yeah.
a camera and click what I'm doing.
No. Today it is much easier. And then again you get a like my camera of 12 shots. So you have to plan your whole thing within
Yeah.
12 shots, no?
Otherwise, your film roll is over. 6 rupees.
Yeah, 6 rupees. No, film is over. Forget
Film is
about
Cost.
that it will cost so much.
Yeah.
You know.
So, what were you learning in Salgaonkar then, in Cesars?
That was that time whatever.
400-500? 400-500?
Yeah, maybe 300, 400.
Yeah.
Something. That was a great thing. No?
It was a lot of money.
75 paise was a rice plate, no, in Vasco.
And 6 rupees was a roll of film.
Yeah.
Wow.
6, maybe less earlier.
It went up to 6 subsequently.
And Aqua and Kodak was the better one. Orvo was the cheaper one.
Coming from Poland, Eastern Bloc.
Yeah.
I think Respooled it somewhere in India, and
Yeah, it used to be.
but it was Orvo.
And where you could get cameras in Goa.
Where you got your camera from?
My father had brought it from Africa.
I see.
That's how I got it in
I see.
68.
68.
68. Then Louis got his AE1. Then simultaneously I also got my AE1.
Yashica?
Canon.
Canon. Those were advanced
Both of us
cameras.
used to go around with original cameras.
I see.
Then that
It was a big thing. It was a big thing in those days.
Who recorded at that time? Anyone? Your interview or anything?
No one.
We did.
You all did.
Both of us had our Philips
Video?
recorder, tape recorder.
Audio.
Yeah, audio.
Who you recorded, for instance?
One this thing we did was Tanuja,
The film star?
Tanuja. The Hati Mere Sati film at
Yeah.
that time,
Rajesh Khanna and
Yeah. And she was staying at Gosalia's place in
Vasco.
Margao.
Margao.
So, and this fellow said, we have to interview her. He came to know that she is staying at Gosala's place.
Yeah.
So in the morning we somehow other got into their house in Gosala's house.
Really?
Yeah.
Without permission?
He asked some permission, but
It was not very clear.
not very clear. But we got inside the house,
Okay.
and then they could not do anything. No, we want to interview her.
And she's willing. She's game.
Yeah, she came out. I remember. She came out with a packet of cigarettes. She was a chain smoker.
Really?
Yeah.
Contrary to her image in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we continued. It was virtually full page of the editorial.
Really?
Editorial. And he said, virtually this few letters down.
Okay, so this was a tabloid page or a broadsheet page?
Broadsheet.
How many pages?
I think it was
6, 4.
I can't remember now.
Fully in Konkani.
Yeah, full income, entire company. So that is how we used to go on. Of course, stories have no end. I can go on talking forever.
You should record these things.
And
We should do it in many parts because I think, this is the history. This is the history of the media in Goa, and it's people like you who create it.
okay, I don't know what was the scene in Panjim at that time. We were not living in Panjim.
Yeah.
Panjim was only a transit point for us because of the ferries to go home to Bardes.
You used to go home once a week.
Once a week.
You were not married then.
And even the ferries and the bridges have their own stories to tell,
Lots of stories.
About Vasco. How Vasco came to be was what it was. And why it is today what you are saying, And there is a difference. Nothing happens in Vasco. What would happen? What can happen? Where is football crowd? All the Goans have left. They used to be stuck up for the whole week there.
Working Goans.
Working Goans from Bardes, yes,
Okay.
not Sastrikas much,
Okay.
but at least from Bardes and North Goa.
Because of the bridges.
Because of the bridge, there was
There were no bridges.
The families were there.
Okay.
The families were there. They were staying there. The biggest employers were in Vasco.
Yeah.
MPD.
Yeah. Chogle, Salgaonkar.
Salgaonkar, Chogle.
Dempos.
Dempos not so
Dempos
much.
also.
Not so much. Timlos a little bit.
GSL.
Yeah.
Shipyard. Goa Shipyard.
Limited. Masgan Dock that time.
Masgon Dock.
Yeah. And even it railways had goals.
Yeah.
Railways had goals. Magir, Kirala.
Kirala.
All these companies, mining companies, mining or stevedore, shipping companies. Damodar Mangalji was there. Bandhikas were there. Parport, BM Parport. So
That's an interesting point. You're saying that.
Pereira, all these guys.
You're saying that because they were caught up there in the week and they couldn't escape home, they got involved in sports.
They got involved. They found that it